We've finally reached the last part of the crypto market cycle. This is the aggressive part of the cycle, the parts where market go parabolic before the big crash. It's literally your last chance to make ridiculous returns in this cycle. My name's 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗓 Ran, and I've been around for 3 market cycles. I've seen so many people come into crypto at the perfect time, make a ton of money, and then get completely wrecked and walk away with absolutely nothing. The biggest issue in this part of the market cycle is that markets move really fast. And when they do, they get the better of our human emotions. And so what we tend to do is deploy our cash too late. We tend to sell too late. We follow incorrect strategies that we get from Twitter. Or we follow big accounts with a completely different risk profile. Even I'm guilty of sharing my portfolio and forgetting that most people actually just start with $1,000. And the hard truth with starting with $1,000 is that if you throw 2% at a coin, that's $20. And that's not going to change your life. You need a different strategy. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to invest $1,000 right now. I'm going to build a strategy that's calculated, aggressive, and built specifically for this part of the market cycle. And at the end of the show, I'm going to take that portfolio and I'm going to give it away to one lucky subscriber on this new channel. So listen, if that sounds good to you, subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, get your notepads ready because we're about to build the ultimate $1,000 portfolio that's tailor-made for this part of the crypto bull market. Let's start at the beginning. You heard me mention that this is the last part of the crypto bull market. So how do I know how much time we actually have left? Well, it's pretty simple. Crypto moves in 4-year cycles that follow the Bitcoin halving cycles. In these 4-year cycles, about 1.5 years after the halving, in a post-election year, the markets usually peak. And that would put the top somewhere around October to December this year. The thing is though, that before the markets peak, the markets have a crazy run. And in this part of the cycle, the altcoins outperform Bitcoin for a very short period of time. These runs are absolutely crazy. And altcoins can easily do 5x, 10x, and I've even seen alts do 100x in this part of the cycle. So if history repeats itself, and so far it's lining up, we've got about 3 to 6 months to catch the biggest upside of our lives. What we need to do is we need to make sure that we maximize our gains in the market and that we get out just before the market drops and we get into a long bear market. Okay, so now you understand the crypto market cycle. Let's talk about why $1,000 is actually the hardest investment to make. It's way harder to invest $1,000 than it is to invest $10,000 or say $100,000. Because here's the truth about $1,000. If you lose your $1,000, it hurts, but it's not going to ruin you. You can always work, you can save up, you'll easily make $1,000 back. On the other hand, if you make 30% on $1,000, well then you got $1,300, which is cool, but not going to change anything. It only really gets interesting when you 2x $1,000 or 5x it, or maybe even 10x it, because that's when you get momentum. When you go from $1,000 to $2,000, and then you go to $5,000. If you can do that in 3 months, that's where the game really starts. And that's where the fun begins. All right, so let's begin. Just like anything in life, if you're going to succeed in investing this $1,000, you need to have a plan. The simple truth is that if you don't have a plan in this part of the market cycle, the market's going to move so quickly that you're not going to know what to do when it moves. And that could mean that if you don't do it, you're going to need to wait another 4 years for the next crypto market cycle to get a similar opportunity. So when I build portfolios, I like to follow a 5-step framework that looks something like this. Firstly, I develop an investment thesis. This is effectively how I invest my money in crypto. Plots out what I believe the market's going to do in this cycle. It plots out the type of tokens that I think are going to win. And it also plots out the tokens that I believe don't have a chance. Once I have a thesis, that's where I allocate capital to this thesis. And in this case, we've already said we've only got $1,000. Once we've allocated capital, we then determine the risk that we're willing to take. And since we only have $1,000 and we want to 10x it by the end of the cycle, it means we can't be too conservative. It means we can't rely on coins like Bitcoin or ETH to make those kind of returns, so we're going to have to go a bit riskier. In this case, I'm going to put 1/3 of our capital into the safe bets, 1/3 of our capital into riskier plays, and the last 1/3 of our capital, I'm going to go all out. I'm going to go with tokens that can either do 100x or they're going to go to 0. Now listen, this is not a typical approach, but you've already told me you only have $1,000 and you're not here to play it safe, right? You're here to go big or to go home. And in this case, my job is to get you to go home with a Lambo wearing a Rolex. Now listen, if you want to win a Rolex, there are exchange links below which will allow you to buy all the tokens that I'm going to speak about in this video. If you sign up with any of the exchange links below on Bybit or 𝗏𝗏𝗏, at the end of the month, you could stand a chance to win a Rolex just like the one that you've got on screen. So sign up today. You're going to get the biggest sign-up bonuses in the industry, and you're going to get a ticket into the Rolex raffle. All right, now we've got a thesis. We know how much money we're going to allocate. We know the risk profile of how we're going to allocate it. It's time for the fun part. It's time to actually start selecting the tokens. And after we've selected the tokens, then we need to talk about how we're going to exit with an exit plan. This is like my 5-step process for building any portfolio. And today, I'm going to show you how to do it with $1,000. Let's start off with the thesis. I've been around for a long time. I've invested in over 1,000 projects. I've made huge cash. I've lost huge cash. And if there's one thing I've learned along the way, is that if you want to understand this industry, you've got to go back to first principles. What are those first principles? Well, blockchain technology is all about the creation of digital value on the internet. It's as simple as that. All this technological innovation, all these protocols, all they do is create new digital value that we can transfer on the internet. And if that's the case, well, then you've got to ask yourself, what are people going to do with this digital value? And the answer is, well, they can hold it or they can trade it. And so for me, when I invest in blockchain, I want to invest in the layer ones where the digital value is created. And I want to invest in the trading platforms where people are going to trade this digital value. What I don't want to do is I don't want to invest in too many individual projects because the risk of failure is very high. Most of those tokens are actually going to go to zero. So how do I hedge my bets? Well, I invest in the layer ones where the value is going to be created, and I invest in the trading platforms where no matter what the value is created, people are going to trade those tokens on those layer ones. And you can see it when you look at the market. If you look at the biggest protocols in the market, what you realize is that they're like things like Bitcoin or ETH or Solana or 𝗬𝗏. And then the next cohort of big tokens are the exchanges like the Binance, the Hyperliquid. I want to own the layer one, I want to own the trading platforms, and I don't want to own too many others, right? That's my investment thesis. So now we have a thesis. It's time to get down to the fun part. This is the part where we select the 10 tokens that we're going to put into our portfolio that are going to take our $1,000 and take it to $100,000. These are the tokens that are going to take us home in the Lambo, wearing the Rolex. And remember, if you want that Rolex, there's a link below. Just sign up to any of the exchanges with a link below and you can win that Rolex by the end of the month. For the first part of our portfolio, let's start off with a safer token. Remember that here, we want to invest in the layer one protocols where the value is created, but we're not going to invest in Bitcoin or ETH. If this was a $10,000 portfolio, I'd definitely add some Bitcoin or ETH, but this is a $1,000 portfolio. And we want to 10x this $1,000 portfolio in 3 months. Bitcoin or ETH aren't going to give us those returns. So what we need to do is to look for the best of the riskier chains. And for this, I've chosen Solana, 𝗬𝗏, and Sonic. And I'm going to invest $100 in each of these. Let's start off with Solana. Solana is where all the action is right now. It's the biggest chain in terms of users. It's got the fastest transactions. It's very, very cheap. It's got the biggest community. People trade meme coins on Solana. They trade DeFi on Solana. They trade AI agents. Everything's happening on Solana. And the best thing is, if you look at the chart, it hasn't yet started running. The next one is 𝗬𝗏. This is the chain that was developed by Facebook before they abandoned their blockchain plans. It's a much smaller chain, but it's moving really fast. The user experience, absolutely amazing. They have a bunch of amazing developers and they're starting to get massive traction. It's also recently gained some institutional support. I've seen a big treasury company, which is backed by the foundation. If I'm right about 𝗬𝗏, this one's really going to outperform. And so today is trading at around $4. I can easily see it going to like $16 or maybe even $20 a cycle. I made a video on our other channel about price targets, and if you want to see that video, it covers Sol, ETH, 𝗬𝗏, and a whole lot of others. There's a link below. Go and watch it because I think you'll be quite shocked by some of the other price targets that I mentioned. The last one that I'd add here is Sonic. Sonic is a really fast blockchain that's really, really cheap. It was created by a friend of mine. His name is Andre Cronje, and he's probably one of the smartest people in the blockchain world. Right now, it's a new project. It hasn't got that many users, but the metrics are looking unbelievable. It's trading at about 31 cents, which equates to about $1 billion fully diluted market cap. For a layer one, $1 billion is a very small valuation. And if this thing actually takes off, it could do a 10x. a 20x, it may even do a 30 or 40x a cycle. Okay, so now we've allocated $300 of our portfolio. We've got $700 to go, and we're going to move down. We're going to get riskier. Here, we're going to start investing in the trading platforms. And remember what I said, regardless of the value that's created, people are always going to trade them on the exchanges. And when they do, that's when we're going to make our money. So to pick our winners here, I'm going to pick the biggest exchange on Solana, the biggest exchange on Base, and then I'm going to put some money into Hyperliquid. Let's talk about Raydium. Raydium is the main trading platform on Solana. No matter what value is created, whether it's meme coins or AI agents, everything is traded on Raydium. Now, Raydium was as high as about $8 in the cycle, and it's currently trading around $3. I can easily see Raydium going back to $8 and maybe even going as high as $10, $12, or $16 before the end of the cycle. Next one, I'm going to go for the biggest exchange on Base. You can't fade Base because Base is backed by Coinbase. Coinbase have 100 million customers, and Coinbase have gone all in on Base. You can see it already started last week. More tokens were minted on Base than were minted on Solana, and I don't think that trend's going to stop. And all these tokens, when they get minted, where are they going to trade? Well, they're going to trade on Aerodrome, right? And when they do, I'm going to make the trading revenue. And when I do, I'm going to get rich. And I'm going to buy a Rolex. And then I'm going to buy another Rolex for my wife. And remember, if you want that Rolex, you know what to do. Lastly, I'm going to invest in Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid is a new decentralized perpetuals exchange that has the same user interface as some of the centralized trading exchanges. The only thing is, you get to trade from the money in your own wallet without ever sending it to an exchange. That protects users against exchange hacks. To date, Hyperliquid is really the only perpetuals exchange that's decentralized that's managed to capture any market share from the big centralized exchanges. And I think if it carries on with this kind of momentum, it could start getting the same valuation as some of the bigger exchanges like Binance and Coinbase. And that could mean that Hyperliquid could do a 10x or maybe even 100x. So it's a big play, but I really think that if it does take off, Hyperliquid could be one of the big winners of the cycle. Okay, so now we've deployed $600 and we have $400 to go. We put $300 into the L1s and $300 into trading platform. This is the fun part. This is the part where we choose the riskiest tokens in our bag. This is the part where when we buy these tokens, we know that they could go to zero, and if they do, we may lose $100. And we have to learn to be okay with that. We have to learn to be willing to lose everything we invest in the coin. And if the price does go towards zero, we cannot sell these tokens, because I've seen a lot of tokens go very close to zero and then they recover and return billions of dollars. What we know here is that if these tokens don't go to zero, they could 10x or even 100x. And if they do, that's going to double or triple or 10x our entire portfolio. So in this section of the portfolio, we're going to go low cap. We're going to go dirty. And because we only have $1,000, we're going straight into meme coin land. Well, not straight into meme coin land. Technically, the first token that I'm buying here is actually Pump.fun. It's not technically a meme coin, but it's a meme infrastructure coin. And the reason why I'm buying it is because Pump.fun was the company that actually set up the trenches. They've just raised $1 billion in cash, and they're sitting on about $2 billion in cash. And when I look at the $2 billion that they're sitting on, and I compare it to the market cap of about $3 billion, it doesn't make sense. How can a token that has $2 billion in cash only be trading at a $3 billion valuation? If you can't take $2 billion in cash and convert that into way more than $3 billion of revenue for your token holders, well, then you shouldn't be in the game. And I trust that the team at Pump are smart enough to take that $2 billion and invest it to create much more token holder value, right? And so for me, Pump.fun is the first coin that I put into this degen part of our bag. I think that Pump.fun could easily go back to $8 billion and maybe even a $10 billion valuation. And that would mean that I'd get at least a 2x or 3x from here. All right, enough messing around. Now we're going into dirty meme coin land. And what I need you to do here is I need you to select a meme coin, one of the major meme coins that you think is going to perform in the cycle. I really can't help here because there's no fundamentals here. Just pick a coin. I mean, you either like Popcat or Fartcoin or SPX 6900. Just pick one of the big coins. For this one, I'm going to pick Fartcoin. And the reason why I'm going to pick Fartcoin is because hot air rises. And I just think that there's going to be a lot of hot air here soon. But anyway, jokes aside, just pick one or two of the big meme coins. I'm going to pick Fartcoin, and maybe I'll take a small position on Popcat. just because I like cats. All right, now we've selected the big meme coins in our portfolio. Now we've got to select a small meme coin, a winner, something tiny, something that will probably go to zero. And I mean, if it doesn't, it could do 100x or 200x. Guys, there's no fundamentals here. This is just about finding a coin that you think has a good community, that represents a good culture, that is at a very, very, very low market cap. And this one coin is probably going to go to zero, but if it doesn't go to zero, it's going to 10x or 100x, and that's going to move your portfolio a lot. So here, I'm going to give you a choice of 3. The first one is Momo. Momo has the craziest community I've ever seen. It's a pretty new meme coin. It's trading at about a $20 or $30 million market cap. And I've just never seen a community that's this vibrant. The next one is, well, it's called just a meme coin. And the truth is, the reason why I'm buying it is because a good friend of mine who's deep in the trenches, who usually calls this right, told me to buy it. You see, guys, when it comes to meme coins, there's no fundamentals. It's all about culture. It's all about movements. It's all about who's going to buy the coin from you. And so because we only have $1,000, we're going to go crazy and we're going to take some risks. And probably these coins are going to go to zero. And if they don't, well, these are the coins that are going to double and triple and 10x your portfolio. Anyway, so that is our meme coin portfolio. We selected a thesis. We allocated $1,000 to that thesis. We broke it down into 3 risk profiles, and then we selected the 10 tokens. Now, remember what I said. I said at the end of the show, I'm going to take my perfect portfolio and I'm going to give it away to one lucky winner. And just because I don't want to be unfair for the people who couldn't watch this video first, I'm going to let this video run until the end of the month. And at the end of the month, we're going to select one lucky winner from the comments below, and we're going to literally give them the entire portfolio. So if you're not already subscribed, subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment below, and keep looking at the comments to see whether I've selected you. I'll see you in the next video, and hopefully in the next video, you'll have $10,000 to invest, and I can build you the perfect $10,000 portfolio. And that portfolio, well, it's going to be a lot different from the $1,000 portfolio. I'll see you again then. Until then, trade well, my friends.